You're still live on the Joy News channel on Multi TV, also on Joy 99.7 FM. We're bringing you comprehensive coverage of the special voting underway. We're down to the last 2 hours before the polls close. And joining me now is Evans Mensah, head of our political desk. Evans, it has been a very interesting 8 hours. A lot of incidences to report across the country. But generally, it has been one of a lot of people unable to cast their votes today.
Yeah, it has been. It has been a day of hectic flurry of political activity. We have the special voting going on, but also the Electoral Commission, for whatever reason, decided to put all the important program of the political presidential candidates also meeting up to put their signatures on the paper. Of course, embracing peace and committing to respect the results of the elections. I mean, once it's done on December 7th. All on a single day, and so obviously it's been an unusual day for most voters, but also, I mean, as far as the political scene is concerned, it's been a pretty exciting day also because we have been following and monitoring what has been happening across the country. Our correspondents have been bringing us all the latest from the various polling centers, 284 of them. Also, we know that 127,000 people are supposed to be voting, but I know you've done what, 5 hours already?
5 hours, yes.
Yeah. So you see me as your savior in chief.
Well, let me then give you the honors. Thank you. That'll be it for now. For me, Evans takes over now with the coverage in the last 2 hours here on your election headquarters.
Francis, thank you very much. And we start this afternoon with breaking news from the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is calling for calm among security personnel who find themselves in the situation where they are unable to vote because their names cannot be found on the voters' roll. That has become the main talking point today as thousands go to the polls in early voting across the country. We are watching this unfold in many of the polling stations across the country. We'll bring you the very latest on that. But as this breaking news comes in from the Electoral Commission, I want to bring you details of this statement that the EC has issued. We also know that today another major event has been happening at Mervynpig today, where all the presidential candidates, with exception obviously of Dr. Pakwesi Ndum, have been meeting, expressing commitment, declaring to respect the will of the people after December 7th and signing an accord to remain peaceful on election day. That we've seen one of the most heavily patronized events in our time because of the heavyweights who participated today, supervised by the Chief Justice herself. We'll be going back live there. Our correspondent is standing by for us tonight with the very latest on that. Raymond Aqua will join us with the very latest. Some very interesting things were said on that during that particular program, particularly the assertion by the presidential candidate of the MPP making the point, accusing the government of not doing enough to assure the country of its security during, before and after the elections, and directly mentioning some instances he says has contributed to the erosion of confidence in the system to maintain free, fair, but most importantly, peaceful polls. We've also seen the independent candidate today, also at that same forum, making a very startling point about wishing that the 7 presidential candidates are the ones who get killed in case of any violence, and not the 20+ million Ghanaians who know nothing about violence or have not participated or led in such violence. Those are issues that we'll be analyzing very shortly. My colleague from the political desk will join me on set, Elton John Brobe, as we analyze everything that we've heard today from morning till date. This is your election headquarters. Let me start quickly with that breaking news story I was talking to you about, the Electoral Commission calling for calm among security personnel, because we've heard threats from certain quarters that they will not be deployed on election day to man the polling stations, but also provide security if they are not given the opportunity to vote. Let me read you the statement which you can see on your screens. And we're also live, though, on Joy 99.7 FM. And those who are listening to us on our affiliate stations across the country, tuning in right now, can also join us live on myjoyonline.com. I want to go through that statement for you quickly, and it's signed by Eric Kofi Jakpasu, who will be joining us on the telephone line very shortly to speak to us about this latest statement, giving us a bit more what they intend to do specifically when they assure the security personnel that they will be given an opportunity to vote. How will that be done? The EC says, the Electoral Commission, quoting here, wishes to assure members of the security agencies and the general public that we are fully aware of the challenges some of them are facing at the various polling stations with a special voter list. This was discussed with the presidential candidates and their running mates this morning at the presidential dialogue organized by the Commission on Elections held at the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel in Accra. The Commission is working with the hierarchy of the security agencies to resolve the challenges as soon as possible. We urge the security personnel affected to remain calm. Appropriate arrangements will be made for them all to vote in this year's elections. And that is a key part to watch. We urge the security personnel affected to remain calm. Appropriate arrangements will be made for them all to vote in this year's elections. We are working the phone lines to bring you an interview with Eric Jakpasu, who signed this, to explain to us a bit more what mechanisms they're putting in place to ensure that these individuals who have been affected today get to vote as they've promised before December 7th. Note though, the reason why it's a special early voting, these individuals will be deployed to various parts of the country. It makes it impossible for them to get to the polling stations and vote on December 7th. What this means is the EC must put in place mechanisms to ensure that they vote before the deployment. Yesterday I was speaking to a police officer who tells me he is going to be deployed on Saturday. And if that is the timeline for the rest of the police as far as the deployment is concerned, the EC must then put in place measures to get those affected to vote today or tomorrow, the latest. And that will get EC to explain to us very shortly when we get Eric Jakpasu on the telephone line on this. But also note, though, that we're also bringing you the two things happening today, really. The special voting is happening, but also the key event at the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel. We'll bring analysis of some of the speeches. If you're just tuning in to us on the Joy News channel, on Multi TV, and also on Joy 99.7 FM affiliates across the country, we'll bring you all that you've missed throughout the day. The speeches by President John Dramani Mahama and Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the vice presidential candidate of the PPP, and the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, the International Observer Group. We're bringing all the analysis of some of the things that were said there and what they signed to do once the polls are held on December 7th. I'm just joined in the studio right now by my colleague from the political desk, Elton John Brobe, who has been touring part of the Accra today, the polling centers, and he joins me to look at what we know so far as the special voting is concerned. Raymond Akwa standing by, though, also with the very latest from the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel. He will also join us very shortly. Remember, we also have coming up Eric Jakpasu will be crossed over to Kumasi, speaking to our correspondents there. This is the place to be indeed. Now, let me start with you, Elton. Where were you?
Okankwe Central, specifically the Tesano Police Station Polling Center, which is the only polling center in the Okankwe Central constituency.
And we've had issues about, of course, the main thing we're talking about right now, the breaking news, EC exactly. Calling for calm. What sort of agitation did you see there? Because I can assume people from the security services also there could not find their names in the register.
Yeah, more of them. Indeed, if you check the voters register that the EC is working with, 501 people are on the voters register, expected to go through the process before 5 p.m. today. Now, as at the time I left the place at about 30 minutes ago, only 210 people had, gone through the registration, the voting process. The rest, some came in. A police officer, for example, came in all the way from Obuasi in the Ashanti region. One also came in from the northern regional capital, Tamale. Now, they were told that their names had been taken out of the list, so they should go to Kumasi and Tamale respectively to go and vote. And this particular story was told to a lot of the police officers who came through to go through the voting process, but were unsuccessful because they could not locate their name on the voters register. And I believe that it's been a concern for many constituencies and polling centers that we have reported since this process started at 7 a.m. today. I'm thinking that the Electoral Commission statement that they've put across responds to the concerns of these people, because for them, they've been given, 3 days by the Inspector General of Police to go through this process, because most of them will be monitoring or be providing security for the December 7th election in different areas.
Yeah.
So if they are unable to go through the process today, they may not be able to vote after all.
That's true. I mean, last night on my way home, I spoke to a police officer who tells me he's going to be deployed on Saturday. What it means is if he's affected and you don't get him to vote today or tomorrow, he misses that opportunity.
Yeah, because this police officer who came all the way from Obuasi, she will be providing security services in the 1.5 regional capital, Sunyane. So she came in to vote today, go back to Obuasi, and then go to Sunyane before the 7th. Now, here's the case. She came in, she was told that you have to go back to Kumasi to go and vote there. She is in a state of confusion as to whether she'll be able to vote or not.
Yeah.
The expectation is that indeed this was echoed by the Member of Parliament for the area, that the EC should roll up a roadmap to address some of these concerns, because for many of the security agencies, they stand disenfranchised if the issues they are raising are not resolved immediately before 5 p.m. today.
Okay, and we'll be crossing over to our correspondent shortly, but I need to tell you why this is absolutely important. 127,000 people are voting today. That is enough to decide who wins elections.
As a matter of fact, 127,000 is about 2.1%.
Yes,
of the.
That's enough to win the elections, to decide who wins the elections. In fact, we've seen both 2008, 2012. The margins were pretty small. In fact, in 2008, it was so small, we had to wait for Ting to come in before we could decide who won that elections. And that is why it's absolutely critical that today, whoever is affected gets a vote. And we've already seen threats from some security agencies telling us that if you are not getting me to vote,
they will not go to the center that they have to go and vote.
They will not accept the deployment.
And you know, talking about the significance of this particular number, remember that in 2012, the difference was what? At least over 40,000.
True.
So it tells you the importance of 127,000.
That is
people.
3 times as much as what we are talking about. Jennifer is on the telephone line with us from Adenta. Jennifer, what's the situation at Adenta? We spoke to you earlier. You also have the same key challenges. Have all that been resolved?
By and large, no. They still have the challenges with the police officers and the fire personnel whose names are not on the register here at Adenta. They've been told to go back to the original polling centers to go and vote. But that's proving quite problematic for quite a number of them, because as you've been discussing, they will be deployed on that day to other stations during the December 7 poll. So that's raised quite a concern among the police officers and fire personnel here. But the EC officials who are also supposed to be on duty on December 7th, who are supposed to do the special voting here, have also faced a possible disenfranchising here as well, because they've also been told to go to the original polling centers. And for them, for quite a number of them, it's out of Accra, Eastern region, Western region, Central, Brong-Ahafo. So they've also been raising a lot of complaints about them not being able to vote on December 7th or this day as well on the special voting exercise. So those are the 2 major issues which are plaguing the Adentang voting exercise here. But by and large, it's been quite peaceful. They're expecting 823 people to vote, and so far over 300 have voted.
And for those who can't find their names, we just got a statement from the Electoral Commission. I'm wondering whether that information is filtering down to these polling centers, essentially saying to those affected, as those who can't find their names, that an opportunity will be created for them to vote, and so they should keep calm. Is that trickling down to that center where you are? Are people aware of this? Are the Electoral Commission officials there informing those affected that this is the latest from the Commission?
No, that information has not been passed on to the officers here at the moment. Perhaps they'll do it shortly, but in the time that I've been here and I've seen the notice and I've heard you also talking about it, they have given no notice to anybody concerning the message from the EC.
I see. Jennifer, thank you very much with that quick update from Adenta constituency. We are trying, working the lines to get the EC to speak to us. EC is not willing to talk because they are saying everything they have to say is in this statement. But of course, we all know that there are questions still left unanswered. You have what? Less than 2 hours before polls close. Many individuals can't find the names on the register and therefore cannot vote today. And the EC is telling them that appropriate arrangements will be made for them or to vote in this year's elections. The key question to ask the Electoral Commission is when? When will these appropriate arrangements be made? Because a number of these security personnel will be posted, some of them as early as tomorrow, some of them starting Saturday. So when are they going to make that provision for them to vote? before December 7th? That's the question that needs to be answered. That hasn't been answered in this statement. And so we're still waiting for the EC to come out and be absolutely clear. It's important they note in their statement there that people should keep calm. It presumes then that they've gotten word that people are agitated. And they make reference to the meeting they held with the presidential candidates. And I must make the point, the independent candidates at the forum, the dialogue that was held at the Mervyn-Peak Hotel, made the point that in the meeting where the president was, where the Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo was, all of them were agitated about what was happening on the ground. In fact, he said that it was clear that something had gone horribly wrong with the system, and the EC acknowledged that. In fact, in this statement, it has confirmed what the independent candidate told us at Mervyn-Peak, that there is consensus that something had gone wrong. And issuing a statement that says, we'll make time for you to vote, is simply not enough if people are listening and watching to see how they can get to vote before they are deployed. You need to simply come out and give us a bit more beyond that statement. And we're waiting for the EC to do just that. I can imagine a top executive of the EC have been at the Mervyn-Peak, and so maybe a decision had not been taken as to how exactly to make this possible in terms of making it possible for them to vote. So we're waiting. We're here all day, in fact, until we get that. And we'll be crossing over shortly to other of our correspondents across the country. Elton, I mean, we've had special voting in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been covering elections for a very long time. Haven't had this on this scale. Of course, in every elections you hear issues of I can't find my name, you know. But from what we're hearing today, for the EC to come up with a statement and calling for calm, it's an admission that it's on a scale that is pretty. I don't want to use the word unprecedented, but it's on quite a massive significance.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And indeed, personally, I'm yet to be informed of the decision that went into deciding that those who are on the special list should vote at the constituencies they registered. Indeed, yesterday at the news conference by the director of the elections, Mr. Samuel Tete, he said that the decision to allow the persons on the special voters list to vote at constituencies they registered was taken just Tuesday evening. And indeed,
I mean, Tuesday evening,
just 2 days ago. Yeah, yesterday at the news conference. Indeed,
interesting.
The Electoral Commission was going to go ahead with the decision, taking the names from, for example, the heads of the security agencies and where their people are placed, so that they can go and vote at those places. But the decision to get all of them to vote, to go and vote in their respective constituencies was taken Tuesday evening. So I'm tempted to believe that that's the more reason why this particular difficulty is coming up, because
that's true. Because you have people show up,
exactly,
and then they are told
to go to some other places.
Because you're just putting that information 24 hours before
exactly.
time.
Because the EC is saying that they are working with the list submitted by the police administration and the other bodies like the National Media Commission, telling them where the people can go and vote. So they were left in a difficult situation than to settle on the fact that they should now go to their respective constituencies. That's the most reason why you find somebody come all the way from Obuasi in the Ashanti region to Accra, and she's told to go back to Kumasi to go and vote. That is what is happening. So I don't know what went into deciding to allow the people to vote in their respective constituencies. That is creating this, this huge confusion across the country, where you have 175,000, almost half of them unable to go through the voting process. We have just an hour and 40 minutes to end the process, and they do not know what the arrangement is for them to exercise their franchise, knowing very well that this is just a one-day event. 7th of December is for the general elections. If people are unable to vote today, what does it mean? Does it mean that they will have to now vote in their respective constituencies before they can, board a vehicle to go and provide security services and where the service will post them to? That's a difficult situation that the Electoral Commission and the police administration will have to contend with. Yesterday, when I left the news conference, I was left to know that the EC was in a better position to organize this free and fair, credible, transparent. But what we are seeing today clearly tells us that preparation towards this day has not been right.
Yeah, and Nelson, stay with us because as I've just been told, we have some latest information coming in on a different leg of this whole thing. The Let My Vote Count Alliance is alleging they have intercepted a jute bag with EC logo from a car belonging to an NDC vice chairman. They have so far not come out with any names whatsoever, but we're joined on the telephone line right now by correspondent Joseph Akable, who was at the press conference this afternoon. Joseph, so tell me, what is this whole allegation about, and this thing about a jute bag?
Well, Evan, so the point they are making is the fact that they're unhappy about certain things that have transpired. They spent a lot of time to talk about a special vote. But sending the jute bag, the point they are making is that they have information as to the effect that electoral materials are in possession of ordinary citizens. And by ordinary citizens, they are talking about persons who have no business with the Electoral Commission, yet have electoral materials that are supposed to be used for the election. And one of the things they presented at the press conference is a jute bag that has the EC's logo embossed on the jute bag. Now, they allege that they retrieved this jute bag from an NDC vice chairman whom they are not prepared to name. They said they retrieved it from his vehicle, and they said that it's in line with their civic responsibility as citizens, that they know for a fact that no one who has no business with the Electoral Commission should have an electoral material. So they managed to retrieve that, and they say they are heading over to the police station to file an official complaint about that material which they retrieved from the vehicle of the vice chairman of the NDC. We also talk about the fact that some time ago there was a report that some ballot boxes of the Electoral Commission.
Joseph, just before we move on to the ballot boxes issue, let's talk more about the jute bags. Where did this happen?
They are not mentioning that as well. I mean, they are saying that they want to hold on a bit of the information. They are saying that they're going to give all that to the police once they file an official.
Which police station are they filing the report?
They've not stated that as well, Evans, but they are making a point that right after this press conference, they are heading to the police station to file a complaint on that. Evans.
So definitely, we are going to stay with them, go through the process, get to the police station. Let's see which police station. Let them file their report with the police. We'll bring updates to our listeners, and then they go on to talk about the ballot boxes that allegedly fell off the bus.
Yes, Evans. And the point they made on that leg is the fact that sometime around there was some information that some 6 ballot boxes of the Electoral Commission, while being transported, went missing. Subsequently, the Electoral Commission were able to retrieve some 2. And concerning the others, they say the Electoral Commission mentioned that they will be replacing those boxes. So they are saying that the EC's failure to find the other boxes means that those boxes are also in the possession of citizens who are not they don't have any business with regards to the Electoral Commission, and they are not supposed to be in charge of electoral materials. They again allege that the explanation the Electoral Commission gave was the fact that it was while they were transporting the ballot boxes that some fell off the vehicle for which they were being transported, and they are saying that that is very disappointing and very lazy on the part of a body that is supposed to manage elections for more than 14 million people. So they can't understand why that should also occur. So those are the 2 main issues they allege with regards to the electoral materials being in the possession of the other. But about the special voting as well, Evan.
What are they saying about the special voting?
Yeah, so concerning that too, their point is that they've been monitoring the exercise across the country, and they have the view that the exercise has not gone so well. They again talk about the fact that even before the entire process started, there were some disagreements about the numbers that will be taking part in this year's special voting. They again allege that there was a vote from the IGP to the Electoral Commission chair directing that some persons should be added to the voters register. They say that still, even though that communication took place, it still appears that there are many who don't have their names on the register. They talk about some centers like the Michelle Camp Center they allege they visited, where in that case you have the number that is supposed to be on the register per the register they received. The number they found on the register being more than that number on that register. They again say that there are other centers where they've been to, where quite a number of police officers and other security personnel don't have their name on the register entirely. So the point they are making is that, so the addition that was even made, which people were added to the list, because if you expected some security personnel to be added to the list, why can't they still find their names on the list? And they are urging security personnel whose names are not on the list that if they fail to vote today, they are telling them to abandon their duties for election day and make it to the polling station to take part in the election on December 7th. Another very wild allegation that they are making, again, it still relates to issues of the special voting, and they are saying that they have information that some 98,000 persons, they are saying whose names are on the special voting list, their names are still on the main register. They are saying that is contrary to the rules. Once their names were registered on the special voting list, their names should have been taken off the main voter register, but they are alleging that those names are still on the main voting register, Evan.
I see. And in respect of that first allegation about this jute bag that they found with the EC logo in Boston, when are they filing that report at the police station today?
For that day, they are just they are saying that it's a point that they seek to put across about the fact that this is an electoral commission that is organizing an election for just a little over 100,000 personnel, and we are having so much of a challenge. So they are asking questions about the EC being capable of organizing an election come December 7th. That's just next. For more than 14 million persons who are on the register, if they are finding challenges with just a little over 100,000, so they feel that must sit up and work hard to ensure that the December 7th polls are best credible. They are again making a point. They are urging citizens who will be voting next week that they should stay and police the ballots. They are saying that the law allows them. They are saying once you finish voting, wait at the polling station. Do not leave, no matter even if a police car should leave, because they are saying that the law allows you to monitor the proceedings so the final ballot is counted and declared eventually. So they are urging electors to also take it a point to police the ballot once they cast their vote on election day, Evan.
Joseph, stay on the line with us. And we'll be speaking with David Asante very shortly with the Let My Vote Count Alliance as we go through these allegations that they put out today at a press conference. We will also be trying to be speaking very shortly with the key representatives of the political parties, particularly the Director of Elections of the NDC, Foswan Poffo, the campaign coordinator of the NDC as well. In other words, trying to sample what their own take is on the process so far today. We'll be crossing over to other parts of the country also getting reactions from the political players themselves because of the challenges that we've seen. Also still to come, the Electoral Commission and others all here on your election headquarters. Elton, are you surprised at what we're hearing from Let My Vote Count Alliance? Again, talking about this, the challenges that we've talked about, the EC has admitted already is happening, but also the key issues of finding some Jude back at the ballot boxes. These things happen on election day. I mean, press conferences are held on election day, allegations are thrown out there, we chase, we try and verify, and that's exactly what we're going to do with this. We're going to follow it to the police station, see whether they provide any more details beyond what they've done in the press conference.
My only difficulty is that they are not giving us so much. You are claiming that this particular jute bag, you got it in the possession of a vice chairman of the NDC. You should be able to provide the name of this particular person. And if you want to go ahead and file, a formal complaint with the police, I mean, that'll be all well and good. I'm sure that when they do that, they'll be able to provide names and particulars so that the police can, verify, investigate, and if there's anybody they need to hold responsible for this, they can do it. In times like this, all manner of allegations will be thrown about. Yeah. It is our responsibility to, to dig deep and then come to a conclusion whether these are well following. Because I know if you're also not careful, it tends to create tension among followers of some of these political parties. I think that Let My Vote Count Alliance should be able to provide more information because the allegations they put out, they failed to provide tangible, evidence for us to, follow through. Just mere mention of putting out the name of a particular vice chairman of the NDC is not enough.
Let me ask Joseph a question. Joseph, so did they say the reason why they're not putting out the other details of this allegation is because they want to give it to the police first? Okay, we've lost Joseph with a line. We'll see if we can get him back, but also try and work the phone lines and bring you David Asante. I mean, if that was the explanation, I'll understand that. I mean, if you want to give, but then if you want to give to the police, why then would you hold a press conference in the first place? Why don't you simply just go to the police station, give that information to the police, and then subsequently tell us that you're giving X, information to the police and you're expecting some work to be done on it. And so, of course, I mean, these things happen. Let My Vote Count, we know, is aligned with the MPP. They've been, of course, holding press conferences, doing demonstrations. They started with the demand for a new voters register. That didn't happen. We went to verification of the register. That didn't happen. We ended with what we have now, which largely has been accepted. If you listen to Nana Akufo-Addo today when he spoke, he didn't reject the register based on where we're going to vote, but he is absolutely he was expressing a view though that the polls should be credible, free and fair. Exactly. And he said he will accept the election results within the context of a free and fair elections, which for me was instructive. In other words, if in his view it isn't free and fair, then we're going to have a challenge with whether he will concede or not. We still have Joseph on the line. Joseph, I was asking earlier if the Let My Vote Count Alliance explained at the press conference that the reason why they are not putting out the details in this allegation of finding a jute bag with the EC logo on it, etc., is because they want to first file a complaint with the police.
Evan, come again.
I'm asking is the press conference over?
I'm struggling to really hear.
Is the press conference over?
Yes, Evan.
Okay. Are they about to file the police report now?
Yeah, the indication they are giving is that they will be doing that pretty shortly. In fact, I'm trying to get closer to Mr. Asante, the convener of the group. I'm trying to get closer to him now just to get that now. I'm closer to him now, Evan. If I could quickly ask him. Mr. Asante, don't go. You mentioned that you'll be heading to the police station to file an official complaint. The question now is exactly you will be when exactly you'll be doing that, Mr. Asante? Yeah, Maxine, when exactly you'll be filing the complaint at the police station like you mentioned?
We are going there right away. Let me know, as I speak to you now, we are heading for the police station.
Which exact police station are you heading to?
We will leave that out now, but as I speak to you, possessing these documents is not part of our electoral arrangements and processes. So we want to establish the fact that there are a lot of electoral materials in the hands of the wrong people who are not supposed to process them. So that's exactly what we are saying.
But so far, the press conference, just two instances that you've talked about. You've talked about the ballot box that is a possible situation because they cannot be found. You've also talked about this mysterious juice bag, or you have some more information?
If indeed ballot boxes are missing from the EC enclave and you think it's not damning enough, we have showed you this jute bag which is supposed to be used to cut electoral materials. You still don't think this is damning enough? I don't know what else you think can crush our electoral process and its credibility. These are damning evidence enough. Let's stick to this for now.
Evan, so you heard him there explaining that he wouldn't indicate which police station they are heading to, but again suggesting that they are heading to the police station for further complaint.
Joseph, I need to say to you, track them, follow them to this police station where they're going, and let's get an independent verification of this report they will file. If they're going to the police station, they will be forced to provide additional details that they didn't put forward in the press conference. And so we'll get that from you, correct? Yes, so Joseph is going to follow the members, executive of the Let My Vote Count Alliance, as they make their way to the police station to file that official report. But I must say, delighted to say that I've just been joined on the phone by the Director of Elections with the governing National Democratic Congress, Samuel Fosu-Ampofo. Mr. Ampofo, thank you very much for your time here on your election headquarters. We're just hearing this allegation a few minutes ago. The Let My Vote Count Alliance are heading to the police station to file a report. They claim they found a jute bag with EC, an official EC jute bag with electoral materials in them that they are going to file a police report now with details. They claim it was in the possession of an NDC vice chairperson. Has this come to your attention at all? Okay. We'll get him back on the phone line. Someone for Fosu-Ampofo will be joining us. We'll also get his observations on the polls so far as far as the early voting is concerned. This is intriguing, LT.
Very intriguing, because it will be interesting to know the content of this particular bag, whether it contains electoral materials and what it is going to be used for. If you are going to the police station, you cannot even tell us which police station you are saying that. If this was held at the International Press Center, my belief is that they may go to the Nima police station or the police headquarters to file.
Hold your horses. We can speak to someone for Fosu-Ampofo right now. He joins us on the telephone line. Mr. Ampofo, thank you for your time here on the election headquarters. I was just curious to find out if we're just hearing a few minutes ago the Let My Vote Count Alliance are heading to a police station to file a report. They say they have retrieved an EC official jute bag allegedly containing some election materials in possession of an NDC vice chairperson. Has this come to your attention at all?
Sorry, can you repeat yourself? I'm sorry.
Yes, no problem. We've just been speaking with the Let My Vote Count Alliance. They're just on their way to the police station to file a formal report. They claim they have retrieved an official EC jute bag allegedly containing some electoral materials, and it was in the possession of an NDC vice chairperson. Has this come to the attention of the party?
Nothing like that has come to my attention. And in any case, who is that NDC vice chairman?
Well, they haven't disclosed. They said they were going to disclose at the police headquarters.
So you see, we shouldn't allow people to throw these things into the air and then confusing the minds of the people. Find out who the NDC vice chairman is. We are all in this country. We know the processes by which the electoral materials are transported. Right from the printing of the ballot papers, political party representatives were there. Serial numbers were taken. and the materials were dispatched to the regions, all of us, our agents followed it. When the materials got to the regions, the party agents were there, the materials were distributed. We have put our seals together with the Electoral Commission seals and the various political party seals, and the materials have been kept. When the materials are being transported, party agents are there to ensure that the distribution is done, the seals are taken, the boxes are followed to the various areas where the election is going to take place. So who got what box in whose possession and in whose car? Let us be serious in this country. And the media, if you want to encourage this kind of serious stories about movement of which NDC vice chairman is in possession of those things, they should tell you.
Yeah,
they should tell you.
And we can assure you, in fact, our reporter is with them going to the police station because they will be forced at the police station definitely to provide.
I am telling you that the processes
further detail
that has been put in place with regard to electoral material movement, the movement plans, the seals, the serial number, everything, nobody will have any access to an electoral material in his private car or in his possession into which police stations. The system that has been designed, people must understand it. And I expect that the media must go to the Electoral Commission, be schooled on all the processes that we go through, so that when some of these useless stories are put out, we know how to handle it. We are getting tired of these people.
Absolutely. That's exactly the verification we are in the process of doing with the police, etc. But let me ask you, today, we've had many reports of security personnel, those engaged in special voting, unable to find their names on the register and therefore cannot vote. What's your own, and I understand the president was at this dialogue. The EC has issued a statement admitting it was discussed and it was unanimity of concern really among everybody who was present. All the presidential candidates expressed. What's the view of the NDC on the challenges we've seen so far?
Well, we are also very much concerned about those challenges because the last minute arrangement by the Electoral Commission to alter the process, because all along the registers that were given to us, as at the last IPAC meeting, was that a number of names were going to be added to enable extra security personnel who are going to take part in the elections, to be included on the special voting. Then yesterday, we had that new register very late in the afternoon, and we had to make all efforts to get them across to our constituencies and our regions through soft copies. So this morning, we were taken aback when we had information that several of the security agencies had gone to the police stations and did not find their names in the register. Because then I have gone to the Electoral Commission office this afternoon and held a meeting with the Director of Elections, and he indicated that a decision was communicated to the security agencies that people should go to their constituencies and vote, and those who are doing special voting should go to the places in which they registered to go and vote. And I thought that, between yesterday and today, if somebody registered in northern region or in voter region, and you tell the person this morning to go and vote, the difficulty of the person getting there before even the 5 o'clock becomes a problem. Yeah. So I have gone there, and we are not comfortable with this development because we believe that it is disenfranchising a lot of the security agencies. I have gone there, and the Director of Elections was there. Commissioners were not there. They were in a meeting, and we're going to, protest against what is happening. I believe that every opportunity must be made available for those who have been disenfranchised to cast their vote. Under normal circumstances, special voting was only for presidential elections. For all these years, they go and vote for presidential elections, and on election day, they are deployed to the various constituencies to go and do security duty. And when this situation of voting for both president and parliamentary came in, it became obvious that people will be voting in areas where they do not reside, and for that matter cannot decide who becomes their parliamentarian. I think it is as a result of that the Electoral Commission decided that then people should go to their various constituencies that they registered to vote. But I think the information came very late. So every effort must be done to identify those who have been, disenfranchised as a result of these late directives and be given the opportunity to vote, because no Ghanaian should be disenfranchised from this exercise.
Let me read you a statement issued by the Electoral Commission a few minutes ago, and this is the part that is important for our purpose. It says the Commission is working with the hierarchy of the security agencies to resolve the challenge as soon as possible. We urge the security personnel affected.
Your voice is dropping. Your voice is dropping. Please.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just reading a portion of a statement issued by the Electoral Commission just a short while ago, about 30 minutes ago, on this challenge. It says, quote, the Commission is working with the hierarchy of the security agencies to resolve the challenges as soon as possible. We urge the security personnel affected to remain calm. Appropriate arrangements will be made for them all to vote in this year's elections. Does that address your concern? Hello, Mr. Ampofo?
Well, I think that news is refreshing because we've been very, very worried in view of the number of people who are involved. We are monitoring the exercise across the country in all regions, and the numbers of people who have not found their names in the register is such that it raises cause for concern. And so I'm comforted by this statement by the Electoral Commission, and I believe that they will go ahead, call our attention to it, for all of us to agree on the modality that will be used to ensure that those who could not get the opportunity to vote today are given the opportunity to do so as quickly as possible.
Let me ask you, there's a challenge, though, that we see will emerge, because some of the security agencies, personnel who've spoken to us, say they are going to be deployed tomorrow, some of them on Saturday. Now, if the arrangements to get them to vote, it's not put in place today or latest tomorrow, some of them will already be deployed, which means once they are deployed, it becomes very difficult to get them now to vote. I mean, how will that be resolved? You've been in this process for a while. What's your own take on this? Hello, Mr. Ampofo?
Well, let me say that I believe that the Electoral Commission can do something about it. The Electoral Commission, together with the political parties and the EC, could work out a system where, for instance, the security agencies, the police, can deploy all the officers who were able to cast their vote today. And then those who couldn't cast their vote, perhaps an arrangement could be made between today, tomorrow, and by the weekend for them to vote, so that from Sunday to Monday they can also deploy them. So I don't think that it is beyond the police and the EC to arrive at a common agreement on this matter.
Ms. Ampofo, thank you very much for your time here on the election headquarters.
You're welcome.
So that's the Director of Elections with the Electoral Commission there, Samuel Ampofo there. And the major takeaway from this, if you just join us on the election headquarters here on Joy 99.7 FM, also on the Joy News channel, the NDC formally has declared that they will be protesting against what they call the disenfranchisement of a lot of the many security personnel who can find their names on the voters' roll as we speak. That's the official line from the NDC. A formal protest to be going into the Electoral Commission on this, although they are happy somewhat with the statement that was issued by the EC committing to allow make appropriate arrangements that will make sure that the individuals get to vote. The key question there, though, is how will this be done and when? Because time is of the essence. In fact, it's a race against time now. Some people has a brilliant suggestion, Nelting, that the police hierarchy, the military, etc., should only deploy those who have money to vote and get those who haven't money to vote to stay back and get them to vote. Well, that is good. I don't know how that will be done, because it has to be in sync with the Electoral Commission, the political parties, the security agencies, the high command. That's a tall order. And
I'm wondering how this is going to be done, because I'm sure that by now, the police and the military command, I'm sure by now.
The names have gone.
Yes, and
you know where you have to go, you have to leave.
Where you're going. So
because if you don't leave on the day where everybody's going, there's extra cost. Because
and as a matter of fact, they don't go on their own.
Yeah, they go together.
Put together in a bus, and they are transported to the various places. So if you say, and as of now, we don't know how many will have the chance to vote and how many will not have the opportunity because of this challenge.
But from the EC's own statement, it appears we have a lot of people who can't find.
Because as I told you that this decision to get the people to vote in their respective constituencies. It was taken just Tuesday evening.
And some people confirmed
yes,
that.
Tuesday
that
evening.
it
the initial arrangement was such that people were going to vote for the presidency, but not for the parliamentary candidates of their choice, because you'll be voting at the place, not your original constituency.
No.
For example, I registered.
So say that again. So the original communication
was that
when you get to the polling center, you'll be voting presidential.
Exactly. Because, for example, if I should take myself for example, I registered at the Oforikrom constituency in Kumasi.
Okay.
If I'm to take part in this special voting, and per the old arrangement, that would have meant that I will vote in Accra for the presidency, and then vote for perhaps a parliamentary candidate who may not represent the constituency I originally registered. So Tuesday night, they took a decision that to avoid this particular confusion, let's get the people to vote in their respective constituencies.
So you get to vote for the parliamentary candidate of your respective constituency.
Exactly.
But also the presidential election, you can vote anywhere.
And here's the case: the list submitted to the Electoral Commission was a list that says that the people should be given the opportunity to vote
where they are stationed.
Where they are stationed.
That's interesting.
So 2 days ago, a decision was taken.
You're a soldier who is registered to vote in Oforikrom, but you find yourself resident at Bemakam. The original list that went says allow them to vote at Bemakam. Then the EC comes back 24 hours to go and say no. Let a guy in Bemakam travel to Oforikrom.
Because they themselves are saying that if this old arrangement was to stay, it would have meant that I will only vote for the presidency. Because the person you are presented as parliamentary, I don't know them. Exactly. They don't represent my interest.
Yes.
So 2 days ago, a decision was taken, okay, then let's get everybody to go and vote in their respective constituencies. But a communication had gone to the people saying that come to your original place to come and vote. And that's why we are having this particular confusion. Because the list, you are, for example, the woman who came from Obuase, she's supposed to be in the Ashanti region. Now, she registered here in the Greater Accra in Okankwe Central Constituency. She comes here and she's told that no, because of the fact that you'll be deployed in the Ashanti region, your name has been taken to the Ashanti, so go there and vote. But no communication went to her before coming to Accra.
Yeah, I mean, even if you heard this yesterday, you have to make arrangements to travel to Ashanti region. If you're going by bus this morning,
something like 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, and that's so a lot of the street personnel today, as we've seen and heard, showed up only to be told you can't vote.
You can't vote. You need to go back to some other place.
And try to make your own arrangement.
Either you travel or your name has been taken to another constituency. For example, for the many of the police personnel who are actually stationed at the Tesano police station barracks, their names have been taken to places like Achimota, to Kaneshi. So even though they came with their card hoping that they were going to vote at the Tesano police station, they were told to go to either Achimota or to Kaneshi. Not that their names have been, but to go and verify whether your name is signal.
Hold it for me briefly. And if you just join us on Joy 99.7 FM on Johnny's channel, of course, it's the breaking news is unfolding all the time. The latest we have is that the NDC, the governing party, say they're going to be protesting against formally what is happening with the special voting so far, with many security personnel, they say, who are currently have been disenfranchised or in the process of being disenfranchised, because the polls, we still have a little over an hour to end, and they are going to file an official complaint, a protest with the Electoral Commission. That's the position of the NDC. We're waiting to see what the MPP says. But let's go live to Hashmin Mohammed, who joined us live from Tamale Central, because we were hearing of reports officers in the Tamale Central are threatening a boycott on election day if they do not get to vote today, following the absence of their names in the special voters list. Hashmin Mohammed is there for us. Hashmin, so is the situation the same? Is it how bad is it? I mean, is this an overt, open protest by the security officers?
Well, even these security officers, who are mainly police officers, some of them have traveled for about 3 to 4 hours, coming from Bimbla, some are coming from Bunkrugu, in the conflict areas, and they have arrived in Tamale this morning to vote in their constituencies, only to be told that their names cannot be found in the register. Now, one interesting issue is also that the regional police commander and several other high-ranking officers of the police service in the region cannot also find their names in the list. Now, they are also raising a worry that some junior officers who have just been trained and they are yet to be rolled into the service can't find their names in the register, and then they are voting. And for them, they are not happy that they cannot vote as junior officers, and then their junior officers who are at training can vote. And they are saying that the vote is their right, and for them, if they don't get out, if they are unable to vote, that means that they cannot police the ballot on the 7th of December. They will have to stay and vote before they can think of rendering service.
Oh, I see. Hashmin, this is interesting because we heard in the morning that the Northern Regional Police Commander, who was the first on the scene, couldn't find his vote on the list.
Exactly. That is what the police officers that I spoke to are saying. According to them, they were in the same queue with their senior officers, the regional commander, and several other high-ranking officers. And all of them couldn't find their name in the register, and they are not happy about the process. Okay,
Hashmin, thank you very much. Hashmin, with the very latest from the Northern Regional Capital, Tamale there, where of course, we're hearing of this challenge perpetuating itself there also, the threats from the security personnel there that they will boycott election day. What it means is that they will not allow themselves to be deployed because they haven't voted. In fact, some of them have been speaking to us.
That you came this morning, have you been able to vote?
No. Comparing the names to the one we have at the headquarters here, our names are at the headquarters here, but you go there to vote, your name is not there. Yeah, that's the challenges that we are having. And those voting now, we are security men here, but there's none of our people voting. It's only civilians that are voting.
Are you disappointed with the process?
Yeah, I'm very, very disappointed.
Now, what do you intend to do now?
Oh, so we also plan that, no, if we can't vote today, then the D-Day, the 7th, we are also not going to supervise. We go to our various towns and we go and do the voting there.
Have you reported this incident to your superior bosses?
Yes. Even the commander himself, the name is not there. The 2AC, the name is not there.
If you are saying the commander, are you talking of the metro commander or the regional?
I mean the regional commander of the Ghana Police, Tamale here.
Have you checked your names in the names that have been pasted?
Yes. We check. Some of us, our names are there. Those pasted there, our names are there. But you come to vote, they will tell you that your name is not there.
In the booklet?
In the booklet, yes.
So in effect, how many of you, can you tell us the number?
We are more than 200.
Almost 90%.
We are more than 200. Those that I know, we are more than 200.
Okay, now so your names are not there.
Your names are not there.
So what are you now standing at the police station? What are you doing there?
So meaning we are just looking at them. We are just watching civilians voting. Because we security here, our home, they are voting in our compound, and we cannot vote. But meanwhile, civilians are voting.
Okay, I think do you also have something to share with us?
Yeah.
What are really your concerns?
I'm so much disappointed in this case because we just had an information that even those at the training ground, they came just 2 weeks to join the service. They are not even yet policemen, but they are voting. But people with 30 years experience, 20 years experience, including the regional commander, the 2IC, the staff officer, have been denied.
Are you suspecting a foul play?
Yeah, because we got the list yesterday night. Our names were there. But all of a sudden, this morning, it changed. So we don't know whether they are trying to tell us that we are not Ghanaians, but we are just wearing the uniform to protect Ghana.
Now, you are saying that some of your colleagues who have just been at the training camp...
They are not even our colleagues. They don't have even numbers. They are not even counted among the police. They just joined. It was just 18th of this month that we went to the depot. But they are voting. Their names are there. But the most stupid part of them is that people who are voting here claiming that they are second assistant polling agent and what. Those people are voting. second assistant polling agent. Their names are there, but we don't have our names.
Are you blaming the EC?
Of course. Yeah.
Where could the problem be coming from? Is it that your superior bosses have not worked enough to ensure that you have your names captured, or the problem could be coming from the EC?
It's from the EC. It's a fair play. Our name has been pasted. But even information from the custom side declares that there is no custom officer voting. No custom officer. Really? Fire service. Prisons. Their names are not inside. But they managed to catch up about 20 policemen. Out of about 600.
Yes. Do you also have any concern?
Yeah, I have a concern. What is going on is actually very bad. It's very, very bad. 2 days ago, there was a name pasted, and that list, Electoral Commission logo is at the back, stating that these particular people should go to Tamale Central, Tamale North to go and vote. And this morning, we came with our number to come and vote. What we found was that our names are not among those who are supposed to vote. So, which is really bad for the security, because we are going to protect the election. How much more, if we are not going to vote, how much more can we protect the election? You see it. So we are very, very aggressive about this election. So the Electoral Commission should start and do something, because we, the security, we are holding the peace of this nation. If we are not voting now, we will also take something seriously about this election. So we are sending a signal to the Electoral Commission, whosoever is concerned about the special voting should back up and start doing something before 6 o'clock. Because we, the security, will also start doing something which may not be good for the nation. Because we are ready to vote peacefully and make sure that the election is very peaceful and very peaceful for each and every one. So if that's what the Electoral Commission is trying to connive and to do for we, the security, we are also ready for them. That's what we have to tell them. Thank you.
So you heard there, and this has been the situation across the country. In fact, as we speak, let me connect to Kamla Adom, who is joining us right now. Okay, Hannah Dami rather is joining us on the telephone line. Hello, Hannah.
Hi, Evans. How are you?
I'm great. I'm told you are the Clotte constituency. Exactly. What's the situation on the ground?
Well, a roundup of what happened in the morning. Most of the security personnel could not find their names, and they were so not happy with this. And they threatened that on the day of voting, which is December 7th, they will make sure that they will vote before they go to their respective centers that they've been posted to. Some of them, one of them that I spoke to had come from Takwade, because when he went there yesterday evening to cast his vote, he was told that he is supposed to vote here in Accra. He came here and he also couldn't find his name. And so that was what happened there earlier in the morning. 672 people had to vote there, but after the time I was leaving to Lejekuku, more than half of that number had voted. Interestingly, as we said in the morning, Mr. Philip Addison decided to be his own polling agent. So he was there counting the number of people who were voting together with the other polling agents. Because a lot of people couldn't find their names, they had to split the queue into two. So when you come, you either go to the A to N queue or you go to the M to Z queue to find out if your name is there before you even join. That's what happened. Earlier, when I went back to the place, I met Dr. Zenato Rollins, who was happy with the process so far, except for the fact that a lot of the people, the EC official couldn't even give me the number of those who have not been able to find their names. They seem quite a lot. And I asked him, he couldn't give an explanation. All he told me was that the list that he was giving, their names are not there.
I see. In fact, we can listen to that interview right now with Dr. Zenato Rollins explaining her own observations of the process so far.
Sure, which is always a good sign. I mean, it shows that people want to be a part of the decision-making process, and for me, that's a good sign.
So how many times have you come here so far?
This is my second trip over here, and I'll be back again a few more times before the day is over.
In the morning, when my people came here, they said a lot of the military security people didn't have their names here, even though they were supposed to be here, and they were complaining. Yeah. What do you make of that initial challenge?
Well, what happened was that the EC gave a new directive, more or less, that people were to register, were to vote where they registered. So it became frequency-based voting process, and that was the challenge. But eventually, you know, once people realized what the situation was, they quickly adapted to it. So for those who didn't find their names on the register for this special voting, they will have the opportunity to vote on the 7th.
Okay. So you don't think your people will be disenfranchised at all?
I certainly would hope not, because they're definitely on the register. So for those who didn't have the chance, the EC would definitely, I'm sure, make provision for them.
I noticed your agents are marking something as if they are going to write examinations. What instructions have you given your agents? Why are they so serious?
I think this is a process that we have a vested interest in making sure that it's transparent and it's free and fair. And I think every single agent here has the same objective. Maybe ours just look a bit more serious, I don't know, but everybody here is just trying to make sure that it's all straightforward so that there's no questions arising after the process.
How confident are you?
I'm quite confident. We've done a lot of work, and we've had a lot of positive feedback from members of other political parties as well. So I think it's a good thing.
Thank you very much, Ursula Gata. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Which is always a good sign.
Okay, that's Zanata Rawlings. I still have with me Dami on the telephone line. Anna, so you've told us about the threat from the security personnel. We've heard that across the country really today, that they will not be deployed. They want to vote before that happens. Yet, there's a statement from the Electoral Commission, and I'm curious to find out, and I've been finding out from our correspondent when they join us, whether this statement has filtered down to the polling centers, which essentially says that the EC is committed to putting in place appropriate arrangements to guarantee that these individuals who can't find their names vote in this year's elections. Is this information available to those who have been affected?
I doubt this information has trickled down to the electoral officers, Evans, because at Lejokuku, for instance, when the personnel there couldn't find their name, especially those in the fire service, a lot of them couldn't find their names. When I asked the EC official, he told me that yesterday evening, they received another list from the EC. And so the presumption is that probably because it's a new list, that's why they couldn't find their names. And he had no idea what we are talking about. So that information is yet to trickle down. Perhaps if he had, the agitations in the polling centers would have been reduced, because then they will inform those who have not found their names that the EC is coming up with something that will enable them to vote. But that information had yet to trickle down. That's exactly what Ninoy, the independent candidate for Kwale, told me when I interviewed him earlier. He said he wished that the EC will come up with some form of polling center for all the people who were supposed to have voted today who couldn't find their names to vote before December 7th, if it's possible, so that they'll not be disenfranchised. But the way it's going, it looks like a lot of people will be disenfranchised. That was what he told me earlier when I spoke to Evans.
Thank you very much, Anna. And Elton, I need to bring you on this. This is important. So far, what we've heard, I mean, from the three constituencies we've been, both in the Greater Accra and the Northern region, this latest information from the EC, calling for calm, assuring that measures will be put in place to get people to vote, hasn't trickled down. And that is a bit surprising and worrying at the same time, because this is about information management. And in an election process, if you cover elections, you know the lack of information can lead to unnecessary anxiety, tensions go up. And we're hearing across the country there are threats from the security guys that they will not be deployed unless they're allowed to vote. And yet, the places where they've been turned away, they've issued a press statement, but the press statement hasn't been communicated to the electoral officers who are in direct contact with these individuals who've been affected. Now, they are hoping that obviously the press will pick this up, read it as we've done, and people will hear it. But there are questions still in this. Make yourselves available so that we can ask the questions. It goes further. You break it down. You calm people. You tell them to calm down beyond a one-line comment in the statement that I've been reading since an hour ago. There's nothing else. There's nothing more to add.
And more surprising is the fact that when you spoke to the NDC Director of Elections, Ofoswampo.
He didn't know to.
And he was at the EC's office.
He has no idea.
Yeah, to
in fact,
protect what is happening.
He was listening to me with rapt attention.
Yeah, when we read to him.
And reacting to this. And this came from the Electoral Commission. This is the Director of Elections of the EC, of the governing party. He had no clue what the Electoral Commission had committed to do when I spoke to him. Obviously, this came directly to the press.
And I don't know whether similar statements before releasing to the media, whether the EC took it upon itself to send similar to the police and the military high command, so that they can send a message to their
people. They all have
so by now
channels of communication that would have gone to the officers.
If those who are complaining are unaware of the steps being taken by the EC to address their concerns, and they are threatening to vote before they will go to where they provide it, because it tells you the importance people are attaching to this particular election.
Absolutely, and we've said already,
leave nothing
127,000 people can decide who the next president is for Ghana.
Yeah.
And that is why this is absolutely important. And that's why we've been on the phone lines, consistently trying to get somebody from the Electoral Commission to come and provide some more meat to this. Because if you speak beyond the statement, it reaches further than what
we have 50 minutes
to go
to end polls, and we don't know
exactly
the plan of action to take care of those who stand disenfranchised by the action and inactions of the Electoral Commission.
Well, and as we approach the 5 p.m., anxieties get built up because there's no assurance, they are not hearing it. Some might have listened to us for the past 1 hour and will know that the EC have said they'll make provision for them to vote.
But it is not enough.
It's not enough.
Provision as to when.
Especially if the person knows that he's going to be posted tomorrow. When and how are you going to make this possible?
As a matter of fact, the information I've picked is that most of the units have been asked to report to their base on Saturday morning.
For posting, for deployment.
Yes, because they'll have to move in batches. For example, those who are going up north, you have like 10 buses transporting all of them.
Yeah.
Some were lights in the Ashanti region, they will continue. So Saturday, you will find security personnel in their bases ready for deployment. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, they will be in their respective regions, going to their constituencies and polling stations, because you cannot just use one day to take them to all the 29,000 polling stations across the country. So this weekend, that is what that information I've picked, that they've been asked to report to their depots or bases for them to be taken to their regions and then to their districts, to the constituencies, and then to the polling centers. So if you bring out a statement that is not conclusive enough in terms of addressing the very concerns that people are talking about, and we have just 48 minutes for the polls to come to an end, and then the uncertainty was setting.
Yeah.
This is just security agencies, media, and officers of the Electoral Commission. Imagine 15 million eligible voters, and we are confronted with
the irony of this is the security guys who will maintain the peace and election, they are already threatening boycott, etc. These are the security guys.
And the boycott is that we will vote before we go and provide the security you are asking us to do.
Exactly, we won't go. Imagine what happened to the ordinary guy who goes to the polling center on December 7 and can't find this. The reason why this is important is this was supposed to be a test run.
As a matter of fact,
a dress rehearsal.
That's what they said yesterday.
For the main election.
They'll be looking at the lessons of today to inform their decision going forward in a run-up to the December 7 general elections. And already the election is such that they need to really put their feet on the ground to ensure that we don't experience this, because December 7th is
it's just 5 days away. Komla Dom is with us on the telephone line right now from Domic Kwabena constituency, where we understand that the incumbent member of parliament there has been speaking to us about some additional concerns. Komla, before you even come in with what the incumbent has been saying, quickly, have you heard anything from that polling center where you've been, from the electoral officers there, communicating anything about an Electoral Commission official position on what might happen to those who didn't find their names?
Unfortunately, the electoral officers here do not have that information. So they have not been telling the people here who have not been able to find their names on the list, who are also unable to vote, that there hasn't been any provision made for them. So as it stands now, there is still a cloud of uncertainty around the entire event, where a section of officials of security services who are unable to vote here stand confused as it stands, actually. I've seen their heads and leaders attempting to take their names and compile them in anticipation to resolving the issue, but it appears that there's no resolution in sight today. But they've been telling me that whatever the case is, they will be casting their votes come December 7th.
I see. You'll be speaking with the incumbent member of parliament for that area. What has she been saying?
I spoke to member of parliament. She's been expressing disappointment over the turn of events, where she tells me the EC didn't prepare adequately for this exercise, and also is casting some doubt over the elections, the general elections come December 7th. She says the EC's preparation is not up to task, and so she's wondering if the EC is prepared to hold a successful election come December 7th. We can listen to her now.
So we'll be bringing you that interview with Adwoa Safo. I know we have that interview that Komla, you did with her, so people, listeners and obviously our viewers can hear what exactly she said there. And then once that is done, we'll also be going across the other parts of the country, particularly to the Ashanti region also, to bring it the very latest. We have Adwoa Safo now.
I think that the entire process and how it's unfolding is a bit disappointing on the part of the Electoral Commission. A few days ago, we saw her in a newspaper article saying they are ready for 7th of December. But this is the beginning part of the 7th December main election, and there are a lot of flaws that are happening. A lot of people have been turned away because their names are not in the special voters list. Right. And you also see people who don't live here and have been, their names happen to be in the register here. Again, there are a number of them who are torn in between whether to come back and vote on the 7th of December and whether indeed their names will be in the 7th December election, the main register. Right. Because once their names are taken out of the main register to be part of the special register and special voters register, that is where it should be. And so they are presumed to have voted today. But most of them are not finding their names and they are not able to vote today. And so if their names are in the main register again on 7th of December, are we supposed to allow them to vote? I think that we shouldn't give any room for chaos because people don't want to be disenfranchised. Right. So we have to quickly urge on the Electoral Commission to come out quickly with a directive. All those who are not in the list, is she giving them an opportunity to vote because the Constitution allows them that constitutional right to vote? So nobody can disenfranchise anyone. But that notwithstanding, I think it's peaceful, no violence so far. But the anxiety and the discouragement on the part of service and police or servicemen and journalists is very, very unwelcoming. And I think that quickly the Electoral Commission should come out with a directive to know the way forward. Most of them want to go to their various polling stations on 7th December and vote. What we are asking is that if that person has been posted on duty outside their constituency on that day, are they prepared to allow the person to come and vote before they go to their duty call? And we also have to ensure security on the day of election, which is 7th December. Right. So if you're making this a bit not too clear for them, most of them are eager to vote. What I see is that on 7th of December, they would not go to their usual post as posted maybe outside the constituency. They will go and vote before they go. So within that period, does it mean that nobody is there to ensure law and order? These are some of the things. We want a peaceful, fair and transparent election. I think for starters, the EC has started on a very bad note.
All right, thank you very much.
So that's Adwoa Safo there with Adomiko Abenya. I still have with me Komla Adom on the line. Komla, we have, 40 more minutes to go. Are people still in the queue or the place is quiet? Hello, Komla? Elting, so that's a view from Adwoa Safo Adomiko Abenya there. Obviously,
it's obvious she herself is not aware of the EC's latest position on the matter or what is happening
and I won't be
across
surprised.
the country.
I'll be surprised. And we're still waiting to see if we can get anybody from the Electoral Commission to speak to the issues, you know, as far as this is concerned. And if you're wondering the statement we are talking about, let me just go through quickly for you what the Electoral Commission has been saying. And it came in like an hour ago, as far as these many challenges that we've seen across the country is concerned. And quoting here, the Electoral Commission wishes to assure members of the security agencies and the general public that we are fully aware of the challenges some of them are facing at the various polling stations with a special voters list. This was discussed with the presidential candidates and their running mates this morning at a presidential dialogue organized by the Commission on the elections held at the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel in Accra. The Commission is working with the hierarchy of the security agencies to resolve the challenge as soon as possible. We urge the security personnel affected to remain calm. Appropriate arrangements will be made for them all to vote in this year's elections. And as we've indicated, there are many more questions to ask about this because the polls are closing in 40 minutes. And note though that it's a total race against time. Many of these, in fact, all of these security agencies personnel will be voted either tomorrow or on Saturday to their various stations to man the poll and provide peace and security for the polls. The question is, do we have enough time to provide them with the opportunity to vote if they don't get to vote today? And when will that be? Before they are posted. We've heard the NDC already say that they are going to protest against what is happening. They are, however, happy with the statement, the commitment by the Electoral Commission. The key question is the modalities. What exactly, how exactly will this be achieved? The Director of Elections puts forth, which is that the heads of the security agencies should simply post only or deploy only those who manage to actually cast their ballots today and leave those who have been disenfranchised today and provide them the opportunity subsequently. And then after they voted, they can be posted. Of course, that has its own challenges, but that has to be dealt with at a very high level, both with the political parties, the head of the security agencies, and the Electoral Commission. And so there are many questions to ask the Electoral Commission, and we hope we can get them on the line to explain that. I want to cross over to Said Ali Yakub in Kumasi, who's leading our team there for us. Hello, Said. Hello, Said. Can you hear me? Okay. I don't seem to have Said's attention presently. We'll see if we can.
Evans, I can hear you.
Fantastic, Said. So what's the situation right now? I know you have an overview of what is happening in the Ashanti region. I know there have been concerns like we've had in Accra, but I mean, how are these concerns being resolved? Do we know?
Well, apart from what we read from the EC statement, on the local scene, we haven't heard, much, except for some explanation given by the regional director of the Electoral Commission as the reasons we are witnessing this kind of challenges in terms of people's names missing on the register and then some numbers swelling in some polling stations. But what I can say is that other concerns that have come up has to do with the fact that some people have complained about the positioning of the polling booths in some polling stations. For example, they say that when people are voting, you hardly see them. And for that matter, there are fears or suspicion that some people may be doing something untoward, which people will not be able to see. But also brings in the issue of the secrecy of the ballot. People cannot sit somewhere and then be watching and maybe stretching to see where people are voting and where they are not voting. So that's an issue that we need to look at, as stakeholders, Evans.
I see. Now, this all-important subject of numbers bloating at the polling centers, I'm assuming would have caused a bit of agitation in the Ashanti region generally. How are the electoral officers there handling that? Have they handled it properly? We have what, less than 40 minutes to go now before the end of polls.
Yes, earlier in our conversation with the Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Sribo Kweku, he explained that if people register to vote early in constituencies other than where they are registered, then they are likely to find their names not being registered in the early voting list, and which means that they will have to go back to where they are registered originally as voters to be able to vote. And then he also said that if they have to rectify the figures, the list, then it's likely that if somebody's registered in polling station constituency A, and then they find their names in the second constituency B, then it means that if they have to set off those names, so it means that the number in the original constituency will reduce, while in where they apply to vote in early, the numbers will rise. And that is the issue we are seeing. So it's just a matter of confirming that duly those people are registered where their ID cards show that they registered, in the constituencies where they registered. And I think Dr. Emmanuel Mafo, who is the parliamentary candidate in the Ofoikrom constituencies, had this encounter with this regional director of the Electoral Commission, and this is the explanation he gave. And when we spoke with him, he appears to understand, even though he still thinks that we could have done better to avoid this kind of situation.
I see. Said, thank you very much for that quick update. I have on the line, thankfully, the Ashanti Regional Secretary of the MPP, Mr. Sampine. Mr. Pine, thank you for your time here on your election headquarters. So tell me, how is your party taking the concerns that we just heard from Said about the increase in the numbers of registered special voters on election day today? Hello, Mr. Pine. Okay, I don't seem to have him on the telephone line. Okay, we have lost him on the line, and that is another one. Is another Elton in Ashanti, and you know Ashanti very very well. In fact, you are registered to voting for Ofoikrom. Yeah. And in that particular constituency, the number we are told jumped from what?
From 400 to 650 eligible voters, and the party officers complained this morning that they were given a list of 400. Now this morning, when the EC officials came, they came with another list containing names of 650, and they are questioning the 250 addition that they have to work with. And I'm sure that's the reason why that's what Said was talking about. Explain.
We can reconnect with Sam Pine, who's the Ashanti Regional Secretary of the MPP, joins us on the line. Hello, Mr. Pine.
Yeah, hello.
Great. So, I mean, we have 30 minutes, just a little under 40 minutes to go before the polls close. You've raised concerns about some of the polling stations where you found that the number of registered voters...
Your line is very faint.
Very faint. Can you hear me?
Your line is very faint.
Okay, let's fix that. Let's fix that and we can have a conversation. I'll get my technical guys to fix that. We can have a conversation. Elton, so that's been a key thing.
That's been a key thing
in Ashanti region.
They are complaining about numbers suddenly going up from the constituencies, and they want the EC to explain. And I'm sure that Said tried to explain that an additional list was prepared, and I'm thinking that the last minute decision to have this constituency, the main point of voting.
That's true.
Has created this kind of confusion, because if the original plan was the one working today, I'm sure that these concerns wouldn't have come up so far. But they took a decision Tuesday night to have them vote in their various constituencies.
It appears that EC has shot itself.
Yes, and they have to prepare a new list altogether, and that's how come we are facing this particular challenge. I don't know how they are going to deal with this. The EC is not available to respond to their own new
press statement.
So that we can put for some of the questions that we have, because 30 minutes more and we don't know the plan of action to deal with the large number of people who don't know their future as far as the voting is concerned, whether they will have it before they are deployed or they will have to vote before they are sent to their various polling centers to man to ensure that we have security and order in some of these areas.
Yeah, let's try again. Let's see if we can get Sam Pine and have a conversation with him. The Ashanti Regional Secretary of the party rejoins us on the line. Mr. Pine, can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me, sir?
The line is still straight.
Okay, we'll fix that. Thank you. I apologize for that. Let's get that done, and then we can have a conversation. So that's one of the key things, in fact. That
and I was also telling you about. There's been a concern about. So what then happens on December 7th when people will go and vote, and you will find names of those who are names containing the special voters list, and then the electoral album itself. How is the Electoral Commission going to deal with it? Now, what we've been told is that they have a mechanism. They are calling it a customized mechanism. They are saying that this is the first time they are using it. They did not use it in the 2012 election. They are using it for the first time in 2016. The system is such that it will be impossible for anyone who is participating in today's early voting to vote again in December. On December 7th, we'll have the general elections. They are yet to explain the details as to how this particular program will work on election day so that we can prevent double voting. Because another concern is that it is possible that people, even though there is this indelible ink, and the feeling is that you will still have it on December 7th. But there are people who are of the view that some people will still go and vote again if the EC is not proactive in preventing them. They are saying that their program is such that you cannot vote twice, today and on December 7th. But we don't know the details as to how this is supposed to be done, so that the party's agents who will be at the various polling centers can be best abreast with the program to ensure that we have a credible and transparent election.
Elton will stay with me because we are now officially 30 minutes to the end of polls. And we're going to stay with you throughout that period. And because at 5 o'clock, we'll be going around the country to bring you the update on the situation on the ground as polls close at 5 p.m. And this is where you want to stay. Let me just quickly highlight some of the key talking points so far as we build up to close of polls at 5 p.m. The breaking news story obviously has to do with the Electoral Commission's own admission that there have been challenges and that they are committing to ensure that those who've been disenfranchised today and are not able to vote, the security personnel, they get an opportunity to do so. And they are asking them to keep calm. And that is an important line in that statement because we've heard and seen members of the security forces tell us, threaten that they will not allow themselves to be posted to their various places to man the polls and deploy unless they are given opportunity to vote. Some even in the northern region have said they'll be boycotting the polls because they've been left out in the cold. The EC says arrangements have been made to ensure that they vote. But when will that happen? Time is of the essence. Almost all of them will be posted by Saturday. It leaves just a little over 24 hours for this to happen. And so can the EC do this within the time available between now and 5 p.m. or post that tomorrow before all these security agencies and the personnel are posted? It's another key question that we are waiting to get answers for. The NDC, the governing party, says they are going to protest against what is happening right now, although they admit that, of course, the statement that came in from the EC is an order. Another thing surprising thing we've established tonight is, although this statement had gone out, hasn't trickled down to the polling stations where people are being turned away. The electoral officers have no clue that this is coming from the Electoral Commission, and that is turned out to be an issue because it's people are, of course, frustrated that they have not been allowed to vote today and their names are not on the list. We'll take a short break. When we return, we're bringing you social media comments. We're watching the trends on social media, telling you news that you've been sending to us, your own observations of the process where you are across the country. And if you're a special voter, how has it been for you? We'll be sharing that with you very shortly. Later on tonight, we will bring you that a recap, an analysis of what happened at the Melvin Pig Ambassador Hotel today when all the presidential candidates committed to a peaceful poll, but also met the Electoral Commission behind closed doors. We have exclusive details on that. What was discussed, particularly issues that has to do with the special voting and how there was unanimity among the presidential candidates that the EC, something is going horribly wrong at the polling centers today. Details of that and more all here on your election headquarters. Stay with us.